you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. How are you? Good, good, good. Take a seat, take a seat. I like your furniture you got here.
It's cute furniture that we hanging.
Well, it's all good.
So what's up?
Have you ever thought of what it takes to become a dictator?
No, I wouldn't think about that.
What do you mean, why? It seems pretty easy to do.
No, all the dictators are little people with little mustaches. I like their mustaches. No, they're boring.
I mean, I was looking at this documentary the other day, and Stalin made it seem pretty easy. You with this little.
Okay, but even Stalin wasn't able to complete everything that fast. It's not easy as 1, 2, 3. And did you really watch the whole video or just the last 5 minutes?
Maybe.
So what did you watch?
The last 5 minutes.
And I bet you that was the action part, huh?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what Stalin really is about.
Stalin was one of many respectable dictators in Russia, but it was no easy work for him to reach that status. At the end of 1901, he was accepted into the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party. He was also arrested and expelled many times due to the numerous crimes he committed. He was a man with extraordinary luck when Lenin appointed him to the Bolshevik Central Committee in 1912. Not only that, but he was a man that knew what he wanted and how to get there. He used propaganda, charisma, and his political skills to rise to power. He was able to use propaganda in his favor when he became an editor of the party's newspaper, Pravda, in 1917. By then, he had gained influence and power within the Bolshevik party. He showed charisma in the way he portrayed himself within the Bolshevik party. He also had brilliant political skills. He demonstrated this when he commanded the Great Purge. He removed the educated people in politics and replaced them with uneducated members.
Did you know that in order for Stalin to achieve and retain power, he was ruthless, blind to human suffering, but at the same time charismatic?
Yeah, but I could do that too.
To become a dictator, you would have no limits. You would have to be ruthless, blind to human suffering, and yet charismatic. Stalin's resume was an example of how this worked successfully. Through the Great Purge in 1936, he was able to get rid of his opponents and anyone who seemed to be an obstacle to him. Many of his Bolshevik colleagues were arrested and executed as enemies of the state. He then would put in office individuals that would be loyal to him and were easily manipulated to support his ideas. He did this to sustain power. If they didn't know what was going on, then they couldn't oppose. He was blind to human suffering when all he wanted was to raise the capital by improving industrialization. To do this, he needed to take away the land from the farmers to make it property of the government. This was known as collectivization. The farmers would receive a wage instead of receiving full profit from their own land. He had control over the farmers and businesses by having food rations and housing control. There were consequences if rules were not followed, such as loss of housing and food rationings. This caused immense famine issues in Russia and many died. Stalin ignored this issue. Stalin also developed working camps known as the Gulag. This is where he would put people who questioned his duties. The same people that would help Stalin turn the Soviet Union into a modern industrial power. Charisma had a great role in this because it is what made Stalin seem like a harmless ruler. The image he created for himself was that he was only in office to improve Russia. He was their hero, the one that would bring them out of the economic depression, or he made it seem that way.